Patach achra za'ira v'ha'amar vayifga b'makom. Another, a younger one, opened and said, and he encountered the place.
So let's go there. I want you to really picture this scene with us. It doesn't start with a big dramatic event, but with a softening. The entire world seems to exhale as it shifts into dusk. You can almost feel the sun bleeding out from the horizon, this deep, rich crimson that stains the sky, and it casts these long, tired shadows across a really rocky, unforgiving landscape. And in the middle of all of it is Jacob, completely alone. A fugitive, really, running from his brother, a man who's literally caught between a past he stole and a future he can't yet see. And as that last little sliver of light just vanishes, this overwhelming quiet descends. And listen, this isn't just silence, you know? It's not just the absence of noise. The air itself feels different. It's become intimate. It's charged with this palpable sense of anticipation. It's like the very earth is holding its breath, waiting for him. Every crunch of gravel under his feet seems to echo in this stillness that feels both ancient and somehow incredibly alive. You just know something is about to happen.
Now, he doesn't just collapse from exhaustion, which is what you or I would probably do. The text is so specific here. He approaches a particular collection of stones. He's not moving with haste. He's moving with this gentle, almost unconscious reverence. He lowers himself to the ground, he gathers these stones, and he arranges his space. It's not just for sleep. It's like he's preparing a holy chamber, carefully setting the stage for a sacred guest.
And in that exact instant that he rests his head, the space around him just responds. It transforms. The harsh, cold rocks seem to soften under his touch. They yield to him. This ordinary patch of dirt becomes a chamber, and a serene, glowing light. And it's not from the moon or any star, it just begins to fill the air. The boundary between the world he was just in and the divine, it just completely dissolves.
And this is where we get to the absolute heart of the mystery. The Torah says, Vayifga b'makom. Now, b'makom, that's simple enough, it means in the place. But vayifga, the root of that word, paga, it implies force, an impact, a collision. It's like he struck the place. So why on earth would the Torah use this language of force, of impact, for a moment that we know is about to become one of the most profound, intimate, and gentle divine connections in the entire story?
To really get to the bottom of that, we're going to go on a deep journey into the mystical secret, the sod, of this whole encounter. First, we're going to trace Jacob's journey to the place. Then we'll unpack what we're calling the divine handshake and look at the anatomy of a sacred union. From there, we'll translate all this ancient wisdom into a couple of really cool modern models, a cosmic protocol and a guide to unlocking co-op mode. And finally, we'll bring it all back home and show you how to bring this heaven down to earth in your own life.
All right, let's get started. Our first step is to really understand the journey itself. We're moving from Jacob's physical steps across the desert to the moment he crosses this profound mystical threshold.
So first things first, we have to get this straight. When the Torah says HaMakom, the place, it's not a pin on a map. In Kabbalah, the place is a code word. It's one of the names for the divine feminine presence in our world. It refers to the lowest of the 10 divine emanations, the Sephirot, called Malchut, which means kingdom. This is also known as the Shekinah. So you see, Jacob didn't just stumble upon a random spot. He was guided to the absolute focal point of this divine feminine energy here on earth.
Okay, so let's get back to that word that feels so out of place. Vayifka. He struck. He collided. Zoar teaches us that we have to see beyond the surface meaning here. This isn't about violence at all. It's about precision. Think about docking a spacecraft. It's an incredibly powerful, intentional maneuver that needs immense force, but also perfect control to get that sealed connection. The sages also point out that this word is related to prayer, pegiyah, an appeal that strikes the heavens with its pure focus. So vayifka isn't a collision. It's a precise, powerful, and intentional act of connection.
So if this whole thing is an act of precise connection, then what exactly is being connected? Well, this brings us right to the core mystical secret of the story, the divine handshake, and unveiling the secret of sacred union, or what we call yishun.
And here it is. This is the secret identity of the players in this cosmic drama. In Kabbalah, reality is built through 10 divine emanations, or sephirot. Jacob, our traveler, he embodies the masculine principle, the sephirah of Tiferet, which means beauty and harmony. He's the archetype of what the mystics call Zir Anpin, the groom, and HaMakom, the place, is his divine counterpart, the feminine sephirah of Malchut, the kingdom. She is the nukva, the bride,
You see, this isn't just a story about a man sleeping on rocks. It's a cosmic love story, the sacred union of the groom and the bride.
To make this a little more concrete, let's use a modern analogy. Think about this union, this yichud, between Tiferet and Malchut as a complex computer system initiating a secure handshake. Before any meaningful data can flow, what the mystics call shafa or divine blessing, the two systems have to verify each other. They have to align their protocols, and they have to establish a stable encrypted channel. Jacob's actions are, literally, the steps of this divine security protocol.
So, if this is a divine handshake, what are the actual mechanics? How does it work? Let's dive in and explore the anatomy of this sacred union and see how that connection is actually built, step by step.
The whole point of Jacob's entire journey up to this moment is to achieve yichud. The word literally means unification. It's this mystical process where these different aspects of the divine, the masculine, Tiferet, and the feminine, Malchut, join together. And this isn't just a meeting, it's a true merging that creates a state of perfect harmony and allows for that unimpeded flow of divine energy and blessing to come pouring into the world.
This breaks it all down. You can see how Jacob's simple physical actions are actually the steps of a profound mystical protocol. First, there's the approach, vayifka, that precise, intentional docking maneuver we talked about. Second, the lowering of himself. This is an act of deep humility. He makes himself small to create space for the divine. He doesn't dominate, he yields. Third, speech, the quiet prayer, the gentle whisper that establishes that secure connection. And finally, rest, a state of total surrender and receptivity, which allows the union to be fully and completely realized. Let's really zero in on that idea of speech. The source texts like this one are incredibly explicit about this. It says, do not increase speech, say it in a whisper lest the external forces get a hold of that voice. So why a whisper? Well, because a loud, declarative voice can attract what the Kabbalists call the klipot. These are negative forces. You can think of them like spiritual static or even malware. A whisper creates a private, encrypted channel between the masculine and feminine, and that prevents any interference that could corrupt the connection.
Now, from a numerological perspective, this union is just breathtaking. In Kabbalah, the divine masculine, Zoar, is made up of the 6 emotional attributes, the Sephirot, with Tiferet right at its heart. So Jacob represents the number 6. The place, Malchut, is the 10th and final Sephirah. The mystical math here is that when the 6 unites with the 10, they don't become 16. No, they merge to become 1, creating a brand new singular, indivisible oneness.
And inside this union, there's this incredible alchemical process going on. The Zohar describes it using the language of color. The initial state is often associated with red, Adam. This is the color of gevura, severity, of din, judgment, of intense fiery desire or sacrifice. But through the process of yichud, this intense red is tempered, it's sweetened, and it's transformed into white, lavan. This is the color of chesed, loving kindness, of rachamim, mercy. The purified essence, like the white smoke rising from a perfect offering.
But the goal here isn't for white to just erase the red, or for mercy to completely dominate judgment. It is all about balance. The union takes the potentially harsh, unfiltered red light and the unbound, formless white light and blends them into a single, balanced, golden white illumination, the light of perfect harmony, where kindness gives form to strength and strength gives power to kindness.
Okay, so now let's reframe this entire process. For all of you who think in terms of systems and logic, here is the cosmic engineering protocol. This is a systems-level view of what just happened.
Let's walk through the protocol, shall we? Step 1. Initiate contact. The masculine system, Zoar, approaches the feminine system, Malchut. Step 2, and this is absolutely key, synchronize energy levels. ZA lowers its operational state. It doesn't come in at full power because that would overwhelm the other system. It matches Malchut's state to ensure compatibility. Step 3. Open secure channel. That whispered data packet, the prayer, is sent to establish the encrypted link, bypassing all the noise and interference. And Step 4. Achieve stable coupling. Full integration occurs in that rest state, allowing for a complete, stable flow of energy, the Shifa.
And what's the result? System online. We can just read the status updates. Interface negotiation complete. Energy levels synchronized. Secure channel established. Mutual data flow, that divine Shifa initiated. Unified operation mode is now on. The two systems are now functioning as one single integrated unit.
Okay, so that's the engineer's view, but this ancient wisdom can also be understood in the language of today. So let's totally pivot and look at this as if we're unlocking co-op mode in a video game. This is your gamer's guide to divine partnership.
All right, gamers, listen up. How do you unlock the yichud power-up? Step 1. Carefully approach the NPC Malchut. And the key rule here is, do not aggro. Don't just rush in. Step 2. Initiate the sync quest with a combo move. First, you crouch to lower yourself, then immediately use the whisper dialogue command. This signals that you want to partner up, not dominate. Step 3. To merge your power bars, you both enter the rest state. This creates a shared energy pool, and once that sync is complete, you can activate the Team Ultimate, the unified divine flow ability, which benefits the entire game world.
Now, these analogies are really powerful tools, but the real purpose of this teaching isn't just to understand some cosmic event from thousands of years ago. It's to give us a protocol for our own lives. So let's talk about bringing heaven to earth and how to apply this protocol right now, today.
So the first step is you have to ask yourself, where is the place, HaMakom, in my own life? And it might be a physical place, a corner of your room, a favorite chair, a spot out in nature. Or, it might be an internal state of being, just a moment of stillness. Where's that sacred space that is waiting for you to arrive and intentionally connect with it?
And once you've found that place, how can you practice lowering yourself to connect? Jacob's humility was the absolute key to unlocking this whole union. So in your own prayers, in your important conversations, in your relationships, what does it actually mean to set aside your ego, to make yourself a little bit smaller, to genuinely create space for the other person or for the divine to enter?
And finally, what is the whispered speech that your soul needs to offer, or maybe even needs to hear? In a world that is just full of shouting and noise, this protocol teaches us the immense power of quiet, intentional communication. What gentle, intentional words can you use with yourself, with others, with God, to build a secure bridge, one that's free from all the static and interference of the outside world?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family find new ways to connect and create harmony in your own lives this week. If this deep dive into sacred union touched your soul, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey resonated most in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.